Hey, it's a new week. That means a new project. So you may notice I'm still in my basement if you watched last week's video, which is behind me. And during that video, I made a comment. I'm like, oh, we're going to move the fridge over here and we'll do something with that later. Later's now. So we're going to deal with the fridge now. So this is what I'm thinking. That's your basic, we'll say old school fridge, or that turned into the garage fridge or the man cave fridge or the basement fridge or the whatever. We're going to make that super boring fridge into the coolest, manliest fridge in the world. So we're going to do some things to it because right now it's just plain Jane white. So we're going to change up the color to something interesting, something industrial looking too. That's going to match kind of the aesthetics of the basement I'm going for. We're going to change out the handle because plain old basic plastic handles are not exciting either. And then we got to do something to liven it up because a color change and a new handle is not going to do it. So I'm thinking that's a lot of space on the front of the fridge. So let's do some sort of graphic art or some kind of pop art or something on the front that'll liven up the fridge and make it more of a conversation piece, I guess, more than just it keeps your beverages cold. So it'll do that too, but we'll make it cool looking and manly looking. So let's get to it. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Okay, so our cool fridge project is, in my mind, a three-step process. So step one is going to be color change. So we've got to pull the thing apart, pull the doors off, take some trim off, take the handles off, scuff it up, and paint it a new color. So that is step one. Part B is going to be new handle, cool handle, manly handle. And then the final part, C or three, will be oh the art part. So we'll call it that, the art part. Um, and we'll come up with something cooler. I got some things in my mind, a couple options of how to do it. So we're gonna see what we can actually do because I'm not particularly artsy. So I want this like it's if it's something you think's cool, that you might be able to do it too if you don't have a lot of art skills like me. So let's get started with part one, which is tear the fridge apart, scuff it up, and paint it. So,
Okay, well, that took a while, but hopefully it's worthwhile. So I cleaned the fridge. I took the doors off. I brought the doors up to the garage or the shop, and I left the carcass of the fridge down the basement because I didn't see the point of dragging it up here just to paint it and then drag it back down. So there's enough room down there. The lighting's not good, so I didn't show you me working on that down there, but I did go down there and scrub that. So it's ready to paint. And then the doors up here are ready to paint. So I found a cool paint. I've never used it, so we will see. I was thinking I would do like an industrial gray color for the fridge. That would kind of match the blockers that sit next to. But I found this paint in the store, and it was aluminum colored paint. So that's sort of industrial. So since we're going to have handles made out of, oh, I didn't tell you, handles made out of pipes. Those are the future door handles. So grab those today at the store. Um, since we're going to have handles made out of pipes, it's going to look industrial. I figured, well, we'll try the aluminum, see how it looks. So hopefully it works out because I've never used that color before. We will see. So my fridge is not as smooth. It's got that ruffle texture to it. So we'll see how it looks. So I'm going to paint it aluminum. and we'll see how it turns out. So we'll get it done today and let it dry overnight. All right, from plan B, aluminum, back to plan A, gray, because I opened the can after shaking it and then stirring it and stuff, but it's making me nervous because it seems clumpy. I mean, I know it's got metallic in it, but it seems clumpy and I'm not getting it to mix. So anyway, no bueno. We're gonna run the store, get some gray, and hopefully that's better because I was about to ruin the whole project by painting with that stuff. So. Surprise! I went with plan C or 3 or however you want to phrase that. So obviously this isn't gray and your eyes aren't deceiving you. So went with blue. So blue is my favorite color. I got to the store and talked to the paint guy and I go, I think that aluminum needed to be mixed better, but I like, well, I'm not sure it's going to lay down well anyway. So I went with blue because there's other stuff in the basement that's blue. I've got some lampshades that are blue. The couch is blue. So it is my favorite color. So I want to go with that. But it didn't cover awesome. You can see some light spots. So it's going to need a second coat. So I think I'm done for tonight. It's dinner time. So we'll get cleaned up and have dinner. We'll let this sit overnight. Well, it's going to sit all day tomorrow too. So it needs 24 hours to dry before second coat. So we'll do that second coat and hopefully that'll be it for the fridge, and we can move on to like the handles and kind of figure out what we're going to do for the art and stuff like that. So part 1 is halfway done.
All right, it is the next day. I have my paint and duds on, as you tell from my paint all over my hat and my shirt that's got paint all over it. So I painted the second coat on the refrigerator. It's about noonish, so I didn't wait the full 24 hours, but it was pretty dry. So put another coat on. I'm gonna let that cure for 24 hours, so I can't touch that till noon tomorrow. So turned out pretty good. Second coat covered all the white spots trying to show through. So did another coat on the carcass downstairs. So that means we can move on to some other things while that's drying. So, oh, the other thing I did, there's hardware that holds the door to the fridge itself. So I found some spray paint from another project I had and spray painted those parts so that they will sort of match. They'll all be blue. And then the interior of the fridge will be white with that's the trim or the seal for the doors. So that's white as well. So you might see a little bit of white on the edges, but that's about it. So blue fridge. So that means we can move on to some other stuff. So that's going to dry for another 24 hours. So we've got the handle to make. So let's look at that. Okay, those are all the parts for the handle. Some flanges, some elbows, some connectors, and those are just 12-inch pieces of pipe that I had. It's half-inch pipe. I do a lot of projects with that. Perhaps I will throw some photos up in the corners and stuff of different stuff that I've done with pipe in the basement. So this will make more sense having a pipe handle when you see all the other projects that are made out of pipe in the basement. So, but for now though, everything shows up covered in oil, so it keeps it from rusting. So gonna clean them with some acetone, keep them in a little pan there. So get all the goop off of there, wash them with soap and water, let them dry out, assemble them, and put a clear coat on them. So that's what's next.
Okay, so I've done some stuff off camera. Let me show you what I got done. So I told you about the handles for the doors. I showed you the parts, then cleaning them and everything. So I didn't show you assembling them, but if you can look at these, you know how they go together. So flange, spacer, elbow, and then the handle. So pretty simple. I screwed them all together pretty tight, and then just kind of measured them, make sure everything would lay flat, and then hung them up there. They got a clear coat on them, so they should be in good shape. So those are drying, and the fridge behind me is drying, so I can't touch that for basically another day. So step one is done, just needs to be reassembled. So the fridge is done being painted, it needs to be reassembled. And then step two is the handles. Those need to be installed, but those are drying too. So let's go into step three, which is the art part. So remember, I had a couple different things I was thinking about. So I think what I'm going to do, since I hate waiting around and I'm waiting for the fridge to dry and the art was going to go on the fridge door, my second option was cut a piece of metal out of another appliance I have in the yard. It's an old washer, so it's got a nice smooth front, and so it's not textured like my fridge here. It's smooth. I think that'd be easier to paint on. So I'm going to cut a piece of metal out of that, cut it down to size, and I'm going to paint on that, and then I'm going to make a metal frame go around that, and I'm going to bolt the whole thing on the front of the fridge. So instead of a mural on the door, I'm going to make a mural. I'm going to bolt it to the door. So that saves me having to wait around till tomorrow to do any creative stuff or painting. So let's cut up that washer and get that piece of metal I need. All right, so you saw me cut that out of the washing machine outside. Then I brought it in, cleaned up the edges, and then sanded it all so it is basically looks flat black instead of that reflective coating. So it is ready to accept paint. And then I cleaned it off with a little alcohol. So that is ready to paint on. I think I want to tape up the edges, and then I think I'll take it inside where it's nice and comfy, and I can get a little more comfy than outside in the workshop. We'll let stuff dry out here and down in the basement, and then we'll work on this inside. So I've got to figure a way to lay out the painting that I'm doing, and then get to work. Okay, so new day. I think the last thing I showed you was me cutting down and prepping the panel for paint. So I trimmed it to the exact size, and then I painted it black because I was toying with different things to do, and my artistic skills are not up to snuff. So I made this as simple as possible. So here's a piece of art I want to do. I basically took the original photo, turned it into a vectorized image, and then scaled it way down so it's only two colors. So it's going to be black and white. So that's what I did there. And then I scaled it and printed it on 6 pieces of paper and then taped them all together. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with that next. So here's a piece of art. Yeah, so let me show you what's next. Okay, so here's kind of where we are. We moved from my my den or my office over to my dining room table. So nice big work surface inside that's comfy. So this is the 6 pages all taped together. So I had to trim the 1/2 inch of margin off of everything and then just fit them and tape them together. So no biggie because it's a pretty simple image at this point. So the background is all painted black. So what this is a negative image of what I'm doing. So whatever's black is going to be white. Whatever's white is going to be black. This is just so that I saved my toner cartridge because there was less white than black. So I reversed the image, printed it out like this. And now when that background is dry, I'll bring it in here, it'll be black, and then I will put this printout on top of that, and then I've got black and white carbon paper because I wasn't sure what color background I was going to do. So I'm going to use the white carbon paper, put it behind this, and then draw around every single line with a pen or pencil, and the carbon paper will make an impression on the actual piece of metal that we're going to paint on. So it's already black, so now I have to go in with a brush and just only paint the white stuff. So that's about as simple of an art project as you can get. So that's why I said I think pretty much anyone can do this. So my biggest issues were to figure out what piece of art I wanted to do, and then how to scale it down or dummy it down enough so that I could do it. And I think I did that. And then I was having a hard time with, well, if I'm not going to paint this right on the fridge, then what kind of frame do I put around it? I go, it doesn't need a frame. I'm just going to drill some holes in it and bolt it to the thing because it's industrial downstairs, remember, and it's got pipes for handles. So I'm just going to bolt it to the fridge, no frame. So anyway, let's get drawing the outline and then painting. That'll be next. Okay, you watched me finish up our the art part. So did our Johnny Cash Man in Black mural for the front of the fridge. So nothing's more manly than that, man. So anyway, you can pick whatever kind of art you want to do on your project, but I thought that would work pretty good for my basement project. So anyway, we are to the final day of the project. So now we're just going to install everything. So I got to put the doors back on the fridge and get that working again. Put the handles back on, or our new handles on, and then install our little art piece on the front. So since we're still up in the workshop, let's see what we need to do to get those handles installed, because I want to figure all that out before I haul the things back downstairs. So I dug through my piles of bolt bends, and I found some bolts that are going to work. They're a little long, but that's what I want the look to be. So I did not have one, but I purchased a riv nut device. I know what you call them. And these are riv nuts. So basically, it's a cross between a rivet and a nut. So the device, you drill a hole, you stick the riv nut in there, and then you compress the back side. So it turns it into a nut on the back side, because I cannot reach inside my door. So it's a bit of overkill, I know, but that's me. So these are the handles we're going to go with. I marked them. These adjustable squares are awesome for that. So you set your reveal and you can have a very accurate measurement of what your setbacks need to be. Mine turned out to be 7/8 of an inch. So we did that. We marked them. So next is drill holes, insert the riv nuts, and then we'll bring the doors downstairs, install them on the fridge. Then we'll get the handles up there. And I think I need to get some double-sided tape to hang Johnny where he needs to be. So let's get to that point. Okay, so next step was putting rib nuts in here to install the handle. So I've center punched every one, so I got somewhere for my drill bit to go into. It's not going to wander across my newly painted surface. So I got to drill some holes, insert the rib nut. I've never done this before, so I think it's a cool tool. It's overkill for this, but it'll be sturdy handles for sure. So let's do that real quick, and I'll just show you one so you can get an idea of how it works. I'm going to go to a step bit. Rib nut. That wasn't too bad. 15 more of those. Okay, I think I got all the parts and pieces down here. Brought the seals down. I did mount the handles to the doors up in the shop just because they were laying flat, and that's a much easier way to screw things in than scratch up the front of your door by trying to hang it already in vertical spot. So I think I'm in good shape. Got all hardware. Let's put it together real quick and see how it turned out. Okay, we are done the project. So quick recap, we made the coolest, manliest refrigerator on the planet. Comment below if you disagree or have your other thoughts about it. But anyway, we did three major things for the fridge. We did a color change, changed out the handles, and then we did some cool graphic art on it. So let's check out the final product. I think it turned out pretty good. We did the color change. Keep in mind we had a few options for color, so I ended up with the blue, my favorite color. It's also very manly, blue for boys, I guess. Then we changed out the door handles into pipes, which matches a lot of other stuff I have downstairs in the basement. And those rib nuts worked really awesome to mount those. Those are solid on there. And then finally, I mean, who's more manly than the man in black, Johnny Cash? So did a cool art piece for the fridge front, and I double-sided taped it to the door. So I just taped it, stuck there, and we were good to go. So anyway, I think the project turned out really well. Different color than I was starting off with. This was good to have options in your mind. We mounted the artwork a little different than I thought originally. We actually did the art a little different than I thought originally, and I had a couple options for the door handles, so I went with option B on that one. So it's good to have some thoughts in your head and how you might do stuff, and then be flexible enough to change it around at the end. So whatever works the best at the time. So anyway, if you enjoyed this project, please like, share, subscribe, mash all the buttons. I certainly appreciate that, and thanks for sticking around for the whole video and watching the whole thing. So we will see you on the next one.